Welcome to the Dumbfounded Dishes podcast. I am Mike. That is Ryan. We are your dipshits of the evening. Today we are talking about some dumbfounding nonsense. I don't know if it's nonsense actually or not. I really don't actually know much. Do you know anything?
I think we're gonna have to do like a quick wiki history lesson of what the title's about.
So I think once again we're gonna have to figure out if we're gonna listen to Fox News or CNN or CBS or.
So we're gonna pick the news outlet. Let's see. Choose the news. We're going to call this segment Choose the News. So, my ignorant ass only knows that the Supreme Court, sort of did some sort of reversal thing, right?
You hear me there, babe. Yeah. Because it's... oh, my God. Yes. Yes. She's confused because she hears me in the tablet over here.
In a delay, though.
No, that's how it's supposed to be. It was kind of doing an audio check, you know?
Yeah, but I guess the Supreme Court did some fucking reverse shit like they did with the abortion.
Yes.
Roe versus Wade did.
I think, well, hold on. Let's see. Videos. Can someone explain this to us?
Yes, please. And what we're looking up is what is affirmative action, correct?
No. Maybe. Hold on. That's actually a good point. Let's go now. All right, you can wait. God damn it. If you're watching us now, we don't prepare for this at all. Just let you know.
We didn't go to school, so that's
I went to school.
No, I mean to talk about the caliber things that we talk about. We have absolutely no education in well, at least the political sciences. But what is affirmative action? Is that what you're looking up?
Yes, I'm gonna get a video right now for us to watch that'll explain it to us because we're dipshits. And I'm
sorry, I do not know. I mean,
I know what it is. I mean,
dude.
So, it's a company supposed to have like a quota of how many minorities it has. That's what I think it is, isn't it? Like
hiring.
Yes. You can't discriminate based on race.
But it's not only. I don't think it's only
or sex
in the workforce
or gender.
I think it's also in the recruiting process and admissions to colleges.
Well,
right?
Specifically, I believe what recently happened was only referring to college. It's not referring to employment. It was referring to college.
Right. So this isn't going to affect women being firefighters or anything like that, right? Or
wait, there's women firefighters?
Well, I mean, they're allowed to be tested, but
really, why? How are they going to pick up a 300-pound fat guy from a building and drag him out of the building? I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm well aware of. I'm joking. It's a joke.
Well, the thing is,
get your panties in a bunch. Not you, the women out there.
So that's not going to affect that, right?
I don't think so. But if it does, no, I'm kidding. Again, I was gonna say good riddance, but I was kidding. It's a joke. We're just joking here. All right, let me share the screen. Affirmative action, blah. Okay, we'll go in the top corner here, like good little.
Who
dipshits.
Is Wall Street Journal?
Yes.
Good old Wall Street Journal.
Let's see what this is about.
For more than 50 years, colleges have taken different approaches towards admissions to make their campuses more diverse. Considering an applicant's race, generally called affirmative action, has long.
Sorry, I see this comment. I just want to let you know that is bullshit. You might think your gym teacher, who was probably a very strong female, can do it no problem. However, that's bullshit. I remember there was a woman who, there was a crazy, she was the strongest deadlifter on the planet. And she broke every record. Every record except the men's records. Why is that?
Well, I think testosterone has a big thing to do with that.
Well, the case in point. Exactly why. Yes. Yes. Like everyone was like, oh, she's going to destroy the men. Look how heavy she could lift. But no. No.
Oh, which this actually brings up a little bit like I had an idea and I completely forgot about it. I think I sent it to you. But for one episode, I want to talk about the enhanced Olympics. I don't know if you've heard about this.
No, but that's we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Let's see what affirmative action is about.
Bookmark that.
Long been standard at universities from UPenn to Harvard, but not anymore. The Supreme Court has ruled that no college in the U.S. can consider an applicant's race in admissions.
Good. You shouldn't be allowed to even look at race, because then it doesn't become about your ability to it doesn't become about your grades or about anything other than what is the race of this person. I mean, who cares?
So what I'm looking at, aside from the recommendations, is the only thing that nepotism could really taint, I think, and life experiences, right?
Yeah.
But awards, essays, extracurricular activities, SAT, GPA, and leadership skills seem like something that if you excelled in any high school, you could be in like a shit city college or a prestigious like private school, prep school, and still have all those accolades. Sans the recommendations or life experiences, because that could be nepotism. And I think how like what it was supposed to combat, I think, was that like a lot of rich aristocracy taking over colleges and not letting anybody else. But I think today, if I'm not correct, that a lot of the Ivy League applicants who make it are of Asian American and South Asian American descent.
That's what I was going to get. We're going to get to that eventually, because there's still a lawsuit going on from Asian Americans.
So we'll save that to
yes,
lead to.
Because
but I always thought that it was like primarily on merit how you got into these colleges. I never went to a prestigious college. I went to 2 years of community college.
Yeah,
so
I didn't even go to 2 years of community college. I went to 2 months of. No, I'm kidding.
I didn't have any affluenza or white privilege to get me into a great college with how shitty I did at the end of high school. But
you and me both. So let's see what this is. Hold on.
9 states have already banned this practice. California did almost 25 years ago. Just enough time for a detailed study on its consequences.
Once you have the data set in hand, there's an awful lot you can learn, honestly, pretty quickly, right? Basically, what I'm doing is just differences in means. What happened to the kids after 98? What happened to the kids before 98? Just those comparisons tell you an awful lot about not just what happened in California, but I think what we can expect to happen across the country.
That's a surprise that California did that, being that they're a very liberal state.
But he didn't say what happened. He didn't tell us what happened.
Yeah, what are the numbers? He
didn't tell us what happened. Well, of course, you find a white guy to tell us this. Good.
How affirmative action changed college admissions and what the future of higher education might look like without it. Before affirmative action, selecting which of these student applicants would be accepted was fairly simple. Most colleges would essentially filter students. They'd set factors like a minimum GPA or a minimum test score.
Okay, nothing
and
wrong with
voila,
this.
there's your pool
Perfect.
of accepted students.
Yes.
Obviously, the more selective the school, the higher those standards were.
Great.
But
a big part of both test scores and grades are pre-18 educational investment and, honestly, non-educational investment. The degree to which you had a stable household, the degree to which you had some notion of being able to focus on your work.
What? But
stable household.
No,
I mean,
but
I could see like maybe that contributing to like.
No, but I get that can contribute to your grades, sure.
Yeah.
But why is a college looking deeper into this? Just get your fucking kids in and out. And first off, I think college should be for free and it should be for everyone. But
like most of the world, I believe, university education is free.
Sure. Well, except for, America.
The better a high school you go to, the better the test score you get. The better,
Yeah.
sort of access to resources outside of high school, like tutoring or other services.
But instead of making it unfair for the people going to college, because now you're hiring them or selecting them based on race with that affirmative action, why don't you fix the actual problem, which is their neighborhoods that you're speaking of, the schools that you're speaking of?
Those schools, yeah.
Yeah, you're not solving the problem by fucking over the kids that have A's and they won't get into your school because they're white. Because you had to pick X amount of minorities to get in your school. You're fucking over someone else. Why is one person okay to get fucked over, not the other? Fix the schools that they come out of. Fix the poverty in the neighborhoods.
But let's just say nothing does get fixed on that level.
Well, it won't.
Right, in the community.
They enjoy it that way. That's why it won't get fixed.
If history repeats itself and it continues on that way, where a lot of these places stay in that level of poverty, right? Like, that's not going to get better. So let's just say that just stays the way that it is, in the shitty schools and the better school situation. What do you think happens nationwide to the numbers? In, like, he's saying from 98, let's just say not that far off, like 25, 30 years. Let's just say 10 years. So 10 years from now, let's just say 2 graduating classes away from now, right? What do you think it's going to look like? And if you're just basing everything on family structure, right, and good grades and other extracurricular accolades, like, that would contribute into you getting into a more prestigious school or a more active school, right? Mm-hmm. What do you think the cross-section of students are going to look like? I think, like, it might be speaking of which neighborhoods and which pools of communities send out the most students, which I don't think, to be quite honest with you, I don't think the Whites are going to number greatly in whatsoever. Because I feel like there's probably a greater amount that are going after more trade-orientated, blue-collar
That's what the
jobs.
lawsuit I was going to bring up later is, I believe, I'll get the details. I'm just going to go off the top of my head here, and I could be wrong once we look it up. But I believe it was Harvard made it harder for Asian Americans to get into Harvard.
See, now isn't that the opposite? Isn't that doing the opposite?
Because they already had a large amount of Asians getting into Harvard.
Without the help of affirmative action, right?
So they already were far succeeding everyone else. So they said, this isn't good. Our numbers of Asians are too high. Yeah. So we have to fix this problem. So let's make it harder for Asians to get in by making their testing more difficult, or they changed the test for them, or they did something.
That's a little fucked up too.
There was an interesting article that I think I have in the background somewhere. I'll bring up later, but it says how affirmative action left behind the Asian community.
Like, they didn't include them in the language.
But let's see what the rest of this guy has to say.
That you had access to before 18, the better you test.
It's clear if you break down SAT scores by the background of the student.
Before I even go further, Hiddleston brought up a good point. If I could bring it up here. College is a scam anyway. Yes, it is.
It's not necessary for everyone. I know a lot of people.
If you want to be a lawyer, yes. Want to be a doctor, medical school. But like
60% of the people that I know in the professions that they're in, they did not go to college. If they went to college, 60% of those people, more than half, they're not in a career that their college helped them get into.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, they went to college for something completely different that they never used, and are in an industry making good money without the help
Exactly.
of
I mean, look at these numbers here. It's not, that's like...
Students from higher income households score higher. Same if you look at who grew up in a household with a parent with a graduate degree versus no degree. That also reflects in race, with Black and Hispanic students
Look at the Asians.
scoring lower than white and Asian students. So in the 1970s, when UC Berkeley's admissions really just looked at GPA and test scores, the student population was less than 5% Black and Hispanic.
Which makes sense, because you're doing it based on numbers here.
Students who might have been really high ability just weren't able to get the kind of education that would lead them to the kind of high standardized test that would get them into a school like Berkeley.
I think, if I may, that they're trying to match the numbers of the actual population. So if whites are 40% of Americans, right? And I think that something like 15% of Americans are African American, and then 20% are Latino. You know what I mean? And so on and so forth. And then the rest, chopped down to Asian American and so on and so forth, that the numbers say, but they're going in there seeing that 40% of the student body is Asian, right? And that it's not reflective, and that the whites are like 30% of the student body, and everybody else is like other chopped up groups, which is sort of, I guess, if you're trying to look at a cross section of who actually gets to go to these prestigious colleges, yeah, like your upbringing may have a lot to do with it, because if your parents have money, chances are you have more resources, to get a better education. But that's not true, because there's plenty of fucking stupid, dumb rich kids who don't even go to college or amount to anything and become fucking
CEOs of companies.
No, or just like rappers.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
But like
Chet Hanks or some shit.
So I'm gonna assume we didn't get there yet, but I'm gonna assume what the Supreme Court did is basically just said it's not the government's job to force this upon
to
a college.
regulate, right? Okay,
And
it's the college's responsibility.
Or the state. You got people forget we are not America. We are the United States of America. America is a whole fucking continent, two continents, the South and North, guys. The United States of America is literally 50 colonies united. That's all it is.
So, do you think that this is the conservative majority of the Supreme Court? This is their statement saying, "Hey, listen, big league colleges, we don't have to help you be woke. You're doing just fine the way that you are, keeping yourselves woke. If we lift this policy and you don't follow through by keeping it a policy, then that makes you, the college, look like an asshole."
Or you let the state
decide. Or the state decides.
Let the state decide. It's not the federal government's job to manage your state.
But private colleges, I think private colleges call their own shots. If they wanted
but you
to,
still have to follow the law. So if
you can't discriminate. You still can't discriminate.
But you have to follow the law.
Yeah.
So if the state makes it a law and keeps affirmative action as a law or a policy for that state, then the college still has to follow it. But the federal government shouldn't be making these laws across the board. That's also another thing. Like they need to get rid of federal. Like, okay, I appreciate you guys, Supreme Court, doing whatever you're doing, whether I agree with you or not. You're doing something. Doesn't mean I agree with you, but you're doing something. Most of our government's stagnant and doesn't do anything, but you're doing
Supreme
something.
Court seems to make more moves than the legislative branch and the executive branch.
When are you guys going to legalize marijuana or cannabis?
That's
on a federal level. That's all you got. Let the states decide. You want to let the states decide of an abortion? That's great. Sure, might not agree with that. I might think abortion should be legal across the board, and you shouldn't force you shouldn't deny someone a medical procedure they want that can help them, especially for the child they don't want.
But they're leaving it to states' laws. They're leaving it to states' laws.
I'm saying
your state could say that.
That's what I'm saying, though. I'm saying I don't necessarily agree with that, but if you're going to do that, that means cannabis has to be on the same level as that.
Yeah,
let the states decide.
I'll say this: there'd be less of an uproar with all of this.
No, there wouldn't.
I think if they made cannabis legal first, I think the protests would be a little bit more chill.
Well, they'll all be smoking weed.
They'll be smoking weed.
See, I don't know.
These schools recognized that they needed some way of admitting those students, and so they started affirmative action policies to try to bring in students from sort of every part of, in this case, the state of California.
So in the 80s, they began considering race in their admissions decisions.
Oh, that was my next question. When did that happen?
By the 90s, they would chart students on a social diversity index. If you were low income and a minority and had moderate grades and test scores, you were in. If you were high income and white, you needed higher scores to get in. Some colleges, like the UC Davis School of Medicine, used quotas, utilizing a similar filtering system.
See, I almost feel like the people that are defending this, like the guy talking before and probably this girl who's just the narrator, but she probably agrees with this, it sounds horrible right now.
On an individual level,
you're making quotas now, people based on race.
On an individual level, it's fucked up. Dude,
yeah.
Like as in the specific person, John Smith couldn't get into college because he had to get like 1 point higher and he would have gotten in, but if he was another race and got 10 points less, he still would have gotten into the college of his choice. On an individual level, it's fucked up. On the collective level, I could see how it's supposed to be like kind to people who haven't had the opportunity, right? Which totally sounds completely like the nice thing to do, right?
Yeah,
But
totally.
somebody's getting fucked. Like it's just how it's like the whole omelet. Like you can't make an omelet without breaking eggs. It's like those are the eggs that get
It's
broken.
So the bigger problem, once again, would be solved if you just made college like free, because now the people that can't afford it can now afford it because it's free.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny?
Here's the thing, but
Asians didn't need the bar to get lowered to take over.
no, they still flourished when they raised the bar on them.
They were still getting in it with almost the same numbers.
So like, if you made, well, college wants to make, they want to make, the private colleges want to make money, but if college is free, you're not going to have like an uptake of random people that want to be medical students. You still have to have grades. So like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And I think there's less of a reason if college is free that you're not doing this nonsense here.
My question is, once you're all in college and you're all taking the same classes, the same like advanced chemistry and physics and all that shit and all that crap, right? And you're in these classes and you were somebody who got a 1100 on your SATs and you're sitting in and you got in because of whatever stipulation, you're sitting next to somebody who got like near perfect score, like near 1600 on their test, and they almost didn't make it in because they're Asian and they needed like that. If they were 3 points less on their SATs, they wouldn't have gotten in. And it's like fucked up that they had to like sort of work harder, because don't you have to work harder to score better on that level? Like not even on a black-white level, because fuck that. Let's just put it this way: anybody could do anything and make a lot of money doing it if you're successful doing it, and that's the truth with college or without college. You know what I mean? If you put your ass into most of the shit that most people do, you could fucking excel in that. You may not be a millionaire or whatever, but you could become successful.
Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and like button. There's 7 people here. I don't know where everyone's watching us from. I don't know if it's YouTube. So if you're here, just drop a comment or drop something in the chat and tell us where you're from.
So I know you said this before. I know you said like you don't see the numbers, like you see them separate between the Facebook and the YouTube numbers, right? Like those aren't.
I don't see the different numbers. No.
We need a numbers guy, Mike. We just need like some nerdy dude in the corner who just like tells us the numbers. We need like a fucking Jamie. So this way you can give your fingers a break.
Yeah, probably. No, that name has been taken. No, name that has not been taken. Wow. No. I said drop something in the comments. They wrote no.
No. Never.
So are you watching us on the Nothing Network or the Dumbfounded Dipshits?
How did you find out about us? I thought we were hiding here in this fucking corner of the internet.
Well, I was going to say, whatever happened to, we don't know where Raymond is, and we don't know where Antichrist is, but Antichrist hasn't been here since the Conspiracy Hour with Coase. Remember? Conspiracy Hour with Coase.
Way back, way back and 5 years ago. But I'm saying, like, I really hope we don't suck that bad that they just kill themselves and then we just don't hear from them anymore.
Mass YouTube show goes off air due to mass suicides.
We become the happening. We're like, M. Night Shyamalan.
The few followers they had, 7, all managed to eventually kill themselves.
In a world where podcasting causes suicide, people just start jumping out of buildings. And you see news reports and helicopters. You'd be like, Dumbfounded Dipshits podcast causes mass suicides.
Oh, a full disclosure. Wow. Full disclosure, we're talking about all this affirmative action nonsense and whatnot. I am a product of affirmative action. I've had a government job 3 times, 2 times. I've had good jobs.
You got in through the Latino card?
Hispanic. Oh. On applications now, I feel very happy because it has like a list now. Hispanic, and then on the bottom there it says, what kind of Hispanic are you? Puerto Rican. Boom.
Why didn't you just try to get into Harvard? I would have just like fucking. You did graduate high school, right?
Can you get into Harvard with a GED?
I wanted to find that out because I wanted to be the first person.
Hold on.
I wanted to be the first person.
Can you get into Harvard with a GED?
That was a little bit of a joke.
Most U.S. colleges, including Ivy League schools like Harvard and Yale, accept an applicant's GED certificate. They just
You would need like extraordinary circumstances and have a GED.
well, you
in
have to
order
take
for
the placement test, and you have to score high.
Yes, you still have to do all that shit. I used to joke about that when I was going to fucking Kingsborough, right? I used to be like, well, I'm going to transfer. I was supposed to transfer out somewhere else. And I used to tell people I'm transferring to fucking Harvard from Kingsborough. But, you know, one could dream, I guess, right?
Wow. GEDs in Harvard.
But a few spots would be reserved for minority applicants. In the late 70s, a white student named Backy fell here. Not good enough to get in among other white applicants, but with higher test scores and GPA than the minority students who got in. He sued, claiming discrimination. It made it to the Supreme Court, he won, and was admitted.
I was just going to say, and he's not wrong. He's technically not wrong. He has every right to be upset about this. Now, I still think I kind of I don't know. I kind of agree.
I don't think this is what I think. I don't think if affirmative action could work if it didn't deny people in general. Like if there was an affirmative action across the board.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you could get blocked out if you're African American because we reached our quota. Or you could get blocked out because you're Asian American because we reached our quota.
Which is wrong in both aspects of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's fucked up because there's a lot of ethnicities in the world. There's a lot. And if you split everything equal, you know what I mean? A lot of people would get blocked out. You know what I mean?
It's not even equal, though. It's still not equal.
How many people go to Harvard who are from Papua New Guinea? You know? Not many, probably.
They probably bunch those in with, like, Pacific Islanders.
South Islander, yeah, maybe. Maybe.
The court ruled that while the goal of achieving a diverse student body is sufficiently compelling to justify consideration of race in admissions decisions, specific quotas went too far. More than 24 Supreme Court cases have followed, including the landmark Grutter v. Bollinger in 2003, which upheld that race could be considered as part of a highly individualized, holistic review of each applicant's file. That's essentially how affirmative action has worked the last 20 years. Instead of just filtering a pool of applicants, most colleges look at each person individually. Like Harvard will look at SAT and GPA, but also things like extracurricular activities, essays, awards, life experiences, recommendations, leadership, and yes, race.
But race is probably
the last thing. This is exactly what the
thing.
Supreme Court has now struck down. In two separate cases against Harvard and the University of North Carolina, plaintiffs argued this holistic approach was just a cover for discrimination against white and Asian students. The Supreme Court agreed, ruling that eliminating racial discrimination means eliminating all of it. The student must be treated based on his or her experiences as an individual, not on the basis of race.
That language does sound fair, though. You know what I mean?
I was just going to say that. I was going to say also, like, now, if you have to go based off of the individual, not their race, now the white, rich asshole who has 3 DUIs before going to fucking college might not get accepted because you're looking at the individual. It's like, hey, his scores are pretty good.
His affluenza
but he has 6 DUIs.
His affluenza will keep him out. Like, right? Yeah, which by right, like, you should have a... I mean, listen, I'm no one to talk because I don't have a great reputation, but I'm just saying, like, you figure you would have to have a good or a decent reputation going into college in order to get into a reputable school like that.
Or really rich parents.
Yeah, but you sort of can't be crashing your fucking Lambo into, like, you know what I mean? Into, like, your high school and shit like that either and still get into Harvard. Like, that should probably bar you from that.
Many universities have for too long done just the opposite, which means in this holistic review, race can no longer be considered.
To the degree that these universities want to maintain their current level of racial diversity, California has shown that that is infeasible, at least given the policies that California has tried to implement.
In the 90s, Californians voted for Proposition 209, which banned public universities from considering race. Zach Bleemer conducted a massive study in California, following students that applied before and after Prop 209, looking at where they eventually enrolled, graduated, and then
I think the biggest problem with this whole thing is just colleges in general.
I think there's a college problem.
Yeah, I think because everyone's trying to get into these schools, and I mean,
I don't feel like it's as much like I
It's
feel
not-
like the media reports that I get from this are really socially hyping it up. That I feel like it's more of an administrative college problem that may affect
well, like I
certain
said,
aspects of society, but it's not as much of a hype as I think abortion is.
it's like
And I think that's not even that's
I have
hyped
no
up
words.
too. Because
I'm
if you
also
look,
edibled.
because that started hitting you, right?
They kicked in, yeah.
Yeah, dude, that shit looked mad sticky. That looked like it just came out of the
super
factory.
Super sticky.
Yeah, but my thing is like, yo, dude, you know, like really the smart, like it should be a meritocracy, and you should be fucking getting into the sick school on your merit, and that should be with everything, because you're not getting in. Listen, let's be honest, you're not getting into the NFL or the NBA, or you're not getting into the White House without some sort of fucking sick, you know, like a level of accomplishment. You know what I mean? And if you're gonna get into like the big leagues of fucking Ivy League school, and you should probably have some serious accolades throughout high school, regardless of what you look like or where your family came from. You know what I mean? But the thing is,
Yeah.
and it's true, certain communities might shine more than others. But the thing is, you know, like in time, that's going. All that shit changes
And
too.
you just meant the Asian communities just now. He was
No.
not talking about white people. He was talking about the Asian communities.
Not only because you got a lot of fucking like Russian-speaking former Soviet Union fucking students like
You talking about KGB spies, man?
Yeah, dude. In the college system. That's what I'm talking about. If you know what tinfoil hat I'm talking about. But I'm saying you're going to see it change again. Every 50 years, there's a different cross-section of people who are going to end up fucking, you know, flooding the schools. And it also, bless you.
Thank you.
And since we're a country of immigrants, you're going to see certain immigrant groups shine, like during certain generations. You know what I mean?
You know, I think we have to switch up where we get like our search from, our videos searched from. Because like
Why is
YouTube
that?
now is all like filtered fucking news stories in the top. I just want to see raw footage from someone's cell phone of a fucking protest.
Yes, the thing is they do filter a lot of that shit out. Like I tried to look for, it was something like stupid like footage from a concert, and all I could get was just like hand-picked videos that, you know what I mean? So they are sort of silencing in a way the little guy, which they have been for a while. You know what I mean?
Why is fucking Grey's Anatomy still on in the background, guys?
Grey's Anatomy's always your background noise, just so you know.
Yeah,
Grey's Anatomy's for on the
I
background.
can't find any raw footage of a fucking. All right.
An affirmative action
Yeah, I'm gonna
protest?
put this video
And at
back
their
on, and I'm gonna
wage
try to find it.
statements.
So you can see, so long as they stay in the state of California, where they work and how much they earn all the way through 2020, 25 years almost after the affirmative action ban was implemented.
What he found was that Black and Hispanic enrollments at more selective schools, like Berkeley, dramatically fell when they couldn't include race in their admissions process. Moderately selective schools had almost no change, but enrollment at less selective schools actually rose. Because most Black and Hispanic students didn't not go to college, they just went to less esteemed ones.
You got this cascade effect of Black and Hispanic students, on average, enrolling at a university that's just a little bit less selective than the universities they used to have
But they
access to.
tried to
Kids
get
that
to
used go
the
Berkeley
big
are now go-
schools. They tried to get into the big schools. They just didn't make it in because they're basing it on grades.
Yeah.
going to
And
UC Davis. Kids who used to go to UC Davis are now going to UC Santa Cruz. What happened is pretty substantial negative ramifications for these students.
They became less likely to earn STEM degrees, less likely to go to graduate school. Those with the lowest GPA and test scores became less likely to even graduate. And overall, Black and Hispanic students earned less in their careers than those admitted before Prop 209.
One thing we've learned from affirmative action bans is that the kids who are admitted to more selective universities as a result of race-based affirmative action tend to receive greater value from those institutions in terms of the degree to which those institutions lead them to more successful jobs or more success generally in the labor market than the whiter Asian students who tend to take their places after the end of
The
the
whiter Asian
program.
students?
Bleemer has also studied.
Is that what he just said?
Are Asian students white?
Is that what he just said?
He said the whiter Asian students.
Like to take their places after generally in the labor market than the whiter Asian students who
I really just figured I just lost all respect for this guy. Why are you speaking on this if you're going to say the whiter Asian students who tend to take their places after the end of the affirmative? I'm not even trying to read what he's fucking saying, but what?
tend to take their places after the end of affirmative action programs.
Bleemer has also studied the effects of what's called race-neutral admissions policies, which can include outreach and income-based admissions, as has Georgetown University. They both found the same result.
It seems like all of these
rich neighborhoods. Now they're going like just people who are in like rich neighborhoods.
That's actually a good point. What Hiddleston just said.
Race-neutral alternatives that universities can implement have a tendency toward increasing the diversity of campuses.
But how dare you correct us and make us look stupid?
I still want to hear whiter Asians.
Yeah. Even if he said what you're saying he said, he definitely said whiter Asians, and that's a fact. On this show, we only talk facts. Everything we say from our mouths is 100% a fact. We never embellish everything. We never exaggerate anything. We always tell the truth.
You mean it's 100% fucked, not fact. It's 100% fucked.
Yes, that's what I meant, actually. Don't ever listen to anything we say. It's 100% fucked.
But they don't get you anywhere close to the level of racial diversity that's provided by race-based affirmative action.
Harvard said if it were to not include...
What's up?
I'm annoyed of his ears.
I don't
race
like
in their
that guy.
holistic review, Black and Hispanic enrollment will decline by almost half. Berkeley, even though it has made strides since Prop 209 to enroll more Hispanic students, the Black student population is still below where it was when it could consider race in admissions.
I think we'll see declines in Black and Hispanic enrollment, potentially in some cases quite severe declines in the next couple of years. And as a result, you're going to have this sort of downward shift, Black and Hispanic students enrolling at less selective schools than they had access to previously. There's no clear silver bullet for such universities just to maintain diversity as it is right now.
I mean, listen, it is what it is, and I think this is just part of the ebb and flow of what like the Supreme Court can do. Like they could just, which is this.
Tonight on the readout.
Find it just so out of sorts with the basic value system.
I don't know where I am right now.
I think that across the board,
I'm talking
the
words.
vast majority of the American people don't agree with a lot of the decisions this court is making.
Oh my God! Why?
He does mumble though. He does mumble.
Why? God. Okay. I'm starting to see a pattern here. All right.
I'm saying, do you think he's going to be our next president? I don't think he's going to be our next president.
I don't care anymore. I'm. Listen.
Mike, I just want to say this. If you remember how you were hearing all the thunder and lightning last bucket?
Yes.
It was really loud. I just started hearing some pops. Just to let you know, right? It's close to the 4th of July, and it's not because concealed carries, is permitless.
It's the Wild West up there.
You hear pops and bangs in the background. I swear to you, it's fireworks. It's
so I was talking about this, and I was like, if I hit the lotto in New York is like 400 million right now and 500 million, the Powerball and Mega Millions. And if I hit the lotto, I was like, I want to move. I want to move immediately. And I was like, I think it's Florida. Florida.
You get the most for your money. I mean, even though it's getting expensive down here, it's not nearly as expensive as New York.
No, but once again, if I hit the lotto, it's like I don't have to work ever again, probably.
Yeah.
There's no reason to.
You could live in multiple places. Like you could have a place here and a place there.
Well, I also would want the bunker, and the bunker is probably somewhere in Texas, but not where they flood.
Can't do a bunker in Florida.
No, it's a swamp.
Oh, you hear it?
Yeah, I hear everything. They're bucking shots. It's the Wild West out there. Wow.
I heard the first couple of pops, and I was like, just as that video was ending, and I was like, oh, I gotta let him know that it's okay.
The reason why I turned off the affirmative action thing, I just want to go somewhere else right now.
It's boring. Yeah.
No. That's not what I'm. Let me hear me out.
I'm not going to college.
I think all of this is just here to distract us.
It's a distract. Yes. From what?
Money. Listen, our money's basically valued at nothing right now. The prices of everything's going up. Property taxes are going up. Every tax is going up, and they want to keep distracting us with all this nonsense. It's all shit we shouldn't care about when there's bigger things going on in the world. Oh, but the college. I don't give a shit. Don't go to college. It's useless.
I
don't give a shit. You know what you should do? The only college you should go to is go become a lawyer, be a politician, and get these motherfuckers out of office. And if you're not going to help the problem, you're part of the problem. Because every one of our politicians sucks. They don't. Come on.
Yeah.
Look at the Supreme Court. We're gonna. It's
what sucks is that usually, like to be a politician, most politicians come in through law, so they become lawyers first. You know what I mean?
Okay, to answer that question, wouldn't you get bored not working? I have lots of money.
Lots of hobbies.
Yeah, I also have lots of hobbies. Now, the first thing I'm doing is I'm still probably going to open a business of some kind, but one that...
Open up a jiu-jitsu?
No, I would open up like a studio.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
But like not like a studio, but like a studio. Like, I would continue doing my YouTube shit because now I have money to fucking throw around.
That could just be your job.
That's what I'm saying. I would put money back. Like, I would... Exactly. I have the free time and the money.
Yeah, make better quality content and just have that. Your hobby will be your job. It's not what would you do for work? Would you get bored? It's like, no, it's like what would be your purpose?
Yeah.
If you ever hit the lotto, don't just go on a bender.
It's working, but it's the work you want to do. It's the work you want to do.
Yeah, it's the work you don't want to do. Everything is work. That's true. Everything you got to put work into. Even when I was in bands, I tried to. You still got to put. Even doing this dumbfounded dipshit podcast, there's a level of, like attention you got to pay to it.
Yeah.
So even though it's not hard work, like backbreaking, it's
you guys out there might think we actually don't give a shit, but sometimes we actually know the truth and we just go in another direction to make it ridiculous.
We like to boomerang our ideas back and forth, and some of the shit that we actually say we may not even fucking believe at all.
Most of it we don't believe at all. Well, some things I do believe, but like
outside my house right now.
What'd you just say?
Like, I don't believe there's a war going on outside my house right now.
It's the Wild West, bro. Conceal and carry became legal. Now everyone's just shooting everyone.
Hey, I'm going to a fireworks show tomorrow. They're having one by the casino by my house tomorrow, and they do a drone show too, with 3D holograms and shit. It's awesome.
So the New York City mayor wants you to rat out your friends and family that are selling or using fireworks. There's a reward, I think, involved.
I'm going to drive up to a roadside fireworks shop and buy some fucking sparklers and some fucking little, like bandoliers and shit, and just set them.
Like I was saying, is all this shit's here to distract us. Everyone gets riled up and protests over the wrong fucking things.
Yeah.
Consistently, you're being distracted by everything that's going on.
There's other shit going on.
You should be protesting the fact that we have a president that can't say a full fucking sentence. And I'm not saying he's bad, but I am saying he was put there by someone or the powers that be. Absolutely.
Most presidents are figureheads.
And the solution isn't the other side. The solution isn't Donald Trump either. There's a reason why...
It's even a solution. There may not be a solution.
There's a reason why there's no solution, too. There's a reason why every politician is horrible. That's... When you have a society in chaos, you have a society that's easy to control. And that's all they're doing is creating more chaos. And, like, this might sound ridiculously ridiculous.
Ridiculously
ridiculous. But like all these foundations we built that we could tear them down.
And then rebuild them in
and I'm saying to do it safely, not violently. Violence doesn't usually work. Do it very violently. Violence does not work. Yes, it does.
We don't condone violence. Unless it's in a cage. Or unless
But that's the thing. Also, I hate saying violence doesn't work because I mean, if you look at the foundation of America, it was we're gonna be independent. No, you're not. I'm gonna fucking get a gun and shoot you.
It was born out.
No, you're not. Okay, pow, pow,
it
pow,
was,
pow, pow, pow.
It was born out of violence. You're right. And Americans love violence. And you know what? The movies still prove that because I went to go see the new Indiana Jones movie today, and it was violent as fuck, dude. It was.
Really?
It
Really?
was. It was a Nazi snuff film. The first hour.
They brought back Nazis.
Yeah, they brought back Nazis, bro, big time.
Nice. They
Big
got rid
time.
of aliens. No aliens.
No.
No
They
aliens.
went back to ancient relics.
Okay.
It's cool. It's cool.
Oh God, we're
Yeah.
gonna get knocked off the air because there's a stupid song in the background. Oh, the operator on someone's brain. It's cut open. This is disgusting. I used to get nauseous from this show.
I never thought that TV show was that graphic.
Do you really want me? I don't even want to show you.
No, copyright infringement. We might not be able to.
Have you watched? Have you watched it?
I watched House. I never watched Grey's Anatomy.
Okay, so
I was
you
a
have no
House
idea.
guy.
Like right now, the person's opening, the skull's open, and they're stitching him up.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking.
Like real surgery, huh? I've watched real surgery videos. That I've watched.
Oh, so I've had a cyst removed from my testicle. I think we discussed this.
Yes, you did bring
So,
that up.
Before I went to go do it, I just decided to watch a YouTube video of it being done.
I did
And-
the same with my arm. I did the
and
same.
It's not a very smart idea to do this.
Nah, because you feel okay. I'll tell you what. With me, it didn't freak me out going into it. I was still curious to what was getting reattached and what they had to open. And they pretty much the video that I watched, the very first one, I watched two of them. The very first one was exactly how they did me. The second one, they did something a little different. But the first one was exactly the way they did it. And I saw them and I watched the whole 30 minutes. It was chopped up though, not the arm. They did step by step of what they would, and so I watched it and I didn't freak out. I freaked out afterwards because I remember watching the video and I felt all of those, my bicep and all those tendons and the bone, and I felt what it was attached to, and I felt like the cadaver piece, and I felt it all like from the memory of watching that. And my surgeon also showed me her iPhone shot mid-surgery of my arm while she had the bicep tendon just hanging out.
Is the sound better, by the way? Everyone out there, are our mics at least a little better at being at the same volume? I also probably have to talk louder, but I'm so edibled right now.
No, I think I hear
fucking awesome.
you pretty good, even though you definitely speaking a little slow.
No, I am not. No, I'm not.
Ryan.
So,
No,
but-
I do get
but,
the slow motions from the edibles.
like affirmative action. I guess never affected jobs. I always thought it was something in the workplace too.
No, I think that I think it'll always exist in the workplace. You know what I mean? I think it did. I went to a trade school for 3 years, and the apprenticeship program had an affirmative action, and I was in the lower percentage. I think I was one of maybe 3 or 4 white folk in my apprentice class, and most of everybody. There was a lot of Hispanic, Latino, and there was a couple of Asian. Not a lot of tradespeople are Asian, although I met a few. And then the rest African American.
When I worked at the post office, I was like one of 3 white guys, and I'm not even technically white. I mean, I am white, but I'm not.
Yeah, but that's just proof that everybody works. That's
Well,
how
yeah.
I always saw it.
So,
when I was on a
there
construction
there
site, I'm
is
like,
no-
I would see pretty much everyone was even.
There is no affirmative action in businesses. Everything that you see, like certificates you have on a wall and things like that, are done by state and federal, voluntarily, or
You know voluntary? I know voluntary.
voluntarily, or there's no laws that. Wait, this is so confusing. I'm too high to read this right now.
I love that when you can't like get one line from the next.
I
and you
can't.
You read 3 lines
So
ago.
I'll read the whole thing instead of just trying to pick out what it says. Beyond government contractors, affirmative action policies in the private sector are largely voluntary. I can't fucking talk.
Like it's their own.
And governed by state and federal civil rights laws.
So the business chooses
Yes.
to practice.
These laws prohibit employers from basing hiring or promotion decisions on the characteristic on characteristics like race and gender. Yeah, this is what happens when you take edibles. I am fucking wrecked.
Oh, so speaking about getting fucking wrecked. Actually, no, that was a bad segue.
Yeah, what was that segue? What?
Okay. Anyway, I brought it up before, and I wanted to talk about this, and I think
Wait, I just realized something. Quick, sorry.
Shoot.
I interrupted you before you. Don't lose that thought that you're on.
I'm on it. I'm on it.
This goes back to what I was saying a second ago. I couldn't find a video of the protest. Where there's all these photos, but not a single fucking video from the protests.
Do you think that they're doctored?
I don't know, but we were. This is live on the air. We did this. We looked for a video of the protest.
Are these crisis actors that are posing for these photos?
Whoa! I'm not. I don't want to get sued for $1 billion. Okay.
Almost $1 billion, $900 million. Could you believe that? That you could get sued for that much? Was Alex Jones worth even that much? Like,
he's never worth that much. I think the most he was worth was like 100 million.
I was gonna say maybe if that, like maybe at one point he may have had.
Well,
more.
he owns InfoWars, doesn't he, or no?
Yes, but he got sued a bunch before Sandy Hook. He got sued a bunch from all over the place, and none of them that much, obviously. And maybe had he not gotten sued and he still maintained his popularity, he might have been worth maybe a couple $100 million, but not no $900 fucking million. And I think maybe InfoWars, the corporation and the company maybe has that much. I don't know. See how they could have that much money. That doesn't seem.
So his net worth was roughly about. What? It's all right. So he currently has, with his bankruptcy plan, he gets $520,000 a year.
That's a pretty. Hey, $500,000 a year is not bad
and
money.
And then that leaves him with $7 million to $10 million annually to pay off creditors. So they won. Okay, so the total the families won was actually $1.5 billion. $1.5 billion. And then he filed for bankruptcy. As he said on his show that he has $2 million or less to his name. They estimated it around 10.
Probably liquid.
7 to 10 million.
Liquid. He probably still owns houses. Like he probably still has property and assets. You know what I mean? But he probably has liquid $2 million. I could believe that because he got sued a bunch, bro. He did get sued a whole lot even before the whole Sandy Hook crisis actor thing happened.
I forgot who was talking about it, but they said, he doesn't always follow up with things. So when he hears something from his informants, he kind of goes with it.
He should not be repeating.
And he didn't fact check that one. And he kept going with it. So someone fed him bad information. However,
a lot of bad information that he ate up, though. He did eat up.
However, he ate it up. And see, I always thought Sandy Hook was a little sketchy, but I never thought it was crisis actors and faked. I was aware that children were fucking murdered.
Yeah.
And I think we discussed this last time where it was just there was inconsistencies with the way it was reported. But those inconsistencies is not because it was a conspiracy, but rather because the media is always out to get the news out as fast as possible and they don't fact check anything.
It was each individual news source fucked up in a little bit of a way that made it not consistent enough for people to get fucking paranoid over.
Exactly.
And I think that's what happened. It was like too many and it turned
into. And there you are. You were frozen for like.
Oh, that's because I'll freeze and be. That's because the bomb dropped on the house. Somebody fucking shot a mortar.
And now you're choppy too. I hear you're fine, but your video's choppy.
Really? I thought I just did that. No.
No, now it's better.
Now it's better.
Lost internet for a solid 2 minutes. Womp womp.
Who did you?
No, that's what someone wrote.
Oh, that sucks. Oh, did I lose internet? Did you lose internet? Did you lose internet?
I did not lose internet. I'm so thirsty. I have so bad cotton mouth, but the water is so far away. But it's not really far away. It's literally right there, but it's just so far away.
You got to load up, man. You got to have all the beverages. That's a rule. That's a podcast rule. You can't just go in dry. You got to spit on that shit, homie.
It's like there's one sip left. Wait, what? Whoa. We are a children's show. Okay? You can't say things like that. There are children watching.
So,
At 10:25 at night.
speaking about mature topics, I really want to do this because I know we were talking about the Special Olympics last week, but I want to talk about the real Olympics, and we need to do an episode on this. I want to bring it up because we're nearing the end of the pod, and I feel like we
I could go on forever.
we could get a good quick chat on this, but I really want to delve in deeper and see how this plays out.
I'm not in any rush.
I'll tell you what I did. So I started following on our Twitter. I started following the what were they called?
Wait. You still fuck with the Dumbfound Ditchups Twitter?
Well, I pop in from time to time because I'm not on social at all, much anymore.
So then you see all the porn stars I subscribed to or followed.
I mean, I just assumed Twitter came with porn stars.
No. You have to follow them, but I followed a lot of them.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Do they follow back? Probably not.
No way. No one follows us.
We got to post to be followed. But this is what I was going to say. I started following these folks, and it's gonna bring competition against the actual Olympics, and it's steroid fueled games.
So
It's called. I think I sent you the link. It's called. It's Extreme. The Extreme Games, I think it's called, or like not the Extreme Games.
Let me see. I don't see a link unless it was before that link. Oh,
it might have been before.
No, that's Bill Murray, Ghostbusters.
It was before Ghostbusters, I believe.
Okay, how long ago did you send it? Because now I'm up to the
Enhanced Games. It's called the Enhanced Games, and I think and it's no holds barred. Whatever subs you want, they're going to do everything based on weight class. Like obviously, track and field, all the juice.
All right, I think I found an article on it. Let's see. And Twitter does have good porn. That is a fact. Oh, wait, why'd this come up? No, I didn't mean to share this.
This is the whitewashing of Hollywood.
But it kind of looks like a mix of Obama and Tom Hanks, so it doesn't really look like Tom Hanks.
I can definitely see Tom Hanks.
They could technically do this because he sold his image to Hollywood, like AI technology.
After what they did with Harrison Ford in this Indiana Jones movie, they could definitely make Tom Hanks Martin Luther King Jr. They could definitely do that.
All right. Here's the actual right thing. Sports without drug testing. I'm going to go, I'm going to sign up for like MMA in the Olympics or so whatever it is, and I'm going to do meth.
They're going to have wrestling.
Meth, bro. Meth.
They're going to have supplement-fueled fucking wrestling, and
someone's going to rip someone's arm off and beat them with it.
This is what we should be betting on. We should be betting on like.
So what cocktail are you taking? Okay, hold on. Okay, what cocktail are you taking? Okay, I got this guy.
I like it because the variables could be anything, right? Like whose mixture is the best, right? Who gets them to like victory?
Oh wow, they went with the science is real. Science is real. They went with the opposite of we'll trust the science.
I'm pumped for this. I think this could be good for sports. You know what I mean? Because really, I know you're not into baseball, but the best era was the steroid era when everybody was hitting home runs.
Baseball's the best sport in the world.
No, well, I know you don't mean that, Michael. Now,
best sport.
That being said,
10 out of 10.
It was the best when the steroid era was around.
Well, that's when I watched it. When fucking what's his name and Sammy Sosa and Mark McGuire, when they were juiced to the gills, whacking the fucking bats and yeah.
Jose Canseco and Jason Giambi and fucking all those guys.
Yep,
they were all fucking juiced up. Even Roger Clemens, the pitchers were juiced up too. They were all fucking.
Sports was just better then.
Dude, when football, those guys, when they were all on the fucking steroids way back in the 80s and shit, those guys were killing each other, dude. They were monsters. But.
Wow.
Now,
I'm reading this.
I don't think they're going to have MMA per se, but they are going to have Olympic events like Taekwondo, like Greco-Roman wrestling, like karate. You know what I mean? Like boxing. So that might be fucking interesting.
Do you know who that is?
I'm gonna guess that it's a trans athlete. Correctly.
I'm gonna say some sexist things. Well, it's not sexist, is it? Well, maybe. So this person has a huge advantage.
Because of the testosterone flowing through her
They were a
body.
man most of their lives.
So they still have the gains from the testosterone.
So a lot of the women she fought, she broke their orbital bones.
Well, they were tomato cans too. Wasn't she like giving tomato cans? Like most of these people she fought weren't like.
Well, this is her amateur career, but she moved up to a pretty. I forgot where she fought actually. I don't think it exists anymore. It was the one for just women, which is ironic.
CFA, is that it?
Now I'm gonna look it up. But like, so she was beating women left and right, and she was kicking ass and breaking their orbital bones. If you don't know what that is, that's like over here.
The cheek.
So like, what's that? It could be. Isn't it over here too?
Around. Yeah, like anywhere from here to here.
And then, finally, I think what's her name kicked her ass. Jessica
Fallon
I.
Fox. That's right. Fallon Fox.
So,
Jessica
look.
I beat her?
Yeah. So, oh no, not Jessica I. Ashley Evans Smith. I like her too. You know who Ashley Evans Smith is? I think she doesn't fight
Yes.
anymore, but
Yeah, I remember her.
she fought in Extreme XFO CFA. But then she lost Ashley Evans Smith. Does she still fight?
Does Fallon Fox still have like a dong?
I don't know. I don't know how to Google that.
Because if she committed all the way and she's like full on has like a you know, like I guess the gains are gains. But the thing is, like, yeah, I guess like, you know, she would probably do very well maybe boxing in
Oh, okay. So apparently at some point she tweeted.
tweetered.
Tweeted. I'm so edible, guys. Her ass is really flat. Yeah, it's a dude. Well, it was a dude. Now it's a woman. It tweeted, I literally don't have a penis, but that does stop TERFs from saying I do. Does it stop from wishing I'm dead? And whatever she tweeted is not in existence anymore because it was deleted. She deleted it. So I guess she literally doesn't have a penis anymore.
Good for her. But you know what? Like,
She still is breaking orbital bones.
yeah. I mean, gains are gains. I mean, you know, like I do believe that if you're not juicing and somebody has that sort of like a hormonal advantage, it is. Oh, but it's. I feel like with the enhanced games, everybody's on an even playing field at that point. If it's like whatever
Dude.
gets you to play to your maximum and to compete to your maximum, then fucking go for it. That is some shit. That is something I definitely want to see. It might bring excitement to like.
I just want to let you know that like the whole middle of the episode, or towards the end of the episode, I was talking about how it's a distraction. It's all being made to distract you. And then you're like, look at my new distraction. It's going to be great.
This is a
It's going
good.
to be great. It's a good distraction.
Yeah, because it reminds me of like, you know, like it's
The
memorable.
golden era of, you know what we should, well, we probably get sued. But I want to like react to the Hell in a Cell with Mankind and the Undertaker.
Dude, I want to watch yeah, I think we could probably watch a top 10 of the wildest fucking wrestling
Yeah,
stunts.
no, but I want to watch that whole entire match.
That match. Oh,
That
do
match,
like
man.
yeah, because
Like-
that 25th
like,
anniversary
not
that just
everyone-
that
yeah,
just passed.
exactly.
That was a couple of days ago. It was
Not
25th
everyone
anniversary.
knows, or like a lot of new. What's the generation before us? Like my son's generation. They don't
John
watch
Cena-
wrestling.
the Cena
Yeah,
generation.
but they don't watch it. They
Yeah,
don't watch
no-
wrestling. No one watches.
Some people do. It's niche though. It became niche again.
Yeah, like my son doesn't know nothing. And I was trying to
Yeah.
explain to him, like, listen, wrestling is not good now, but
It
the
was.
Attitude Era
Was the
was
shit.
incredible.
It
And
was
he's
the
like,
best.
no, it's wrestling, man. It's all fake. I get it, but you should. We gotta sit down and watch Hell in a Cell. He's like, what is that? And I go, it's Undertaker versus Mankind. Mankind's a guy from Long Island.
Yeah.
Guess what? And I put on a clip, and I goes, look, he throws him through the cage on the thumbtacks, and my son's like,
Whoa.
I'm like, yeah, bro. I was like, you don't even know about ECW yet, bro.
ECW. That's what you got to show him because he's at that age, right? He's going to be 12, right?
Yeah. 13.
Yeah.
Gonna be 13.
So 13, dude, that's when, because this is what happened. I was huge into wrestling as a little kid. 4, 5, 6, 7, really into it. By the time I turned 8, it started getting really corny and I started getting into comic books. By the time I was 13 was when the Attitude Era started rolling up. And by the time I was 15, it was full blown. It was 1997. Motherfuckers were going through fucking Hell in the Cell. He was getting tossed, like in 98. By 98, that's when that happened.
Let's be real. D-Generation X and the Nation of Domination.
That was OG Attitude Era.
They changed the game. Like
Yeah.
Rock was a great heel.
Yeah.
He was great, and then
He was
like
the best.
He was the best. He was the best.
He
Like,
was the best.
They don't know. People don't know. It was.
He's everybody's
Oh my
superhero
God.
now. That's why he's everybody's superhero now. And people are like, yo, Rock, you should run for president. People are actually saying The Rock should run for president.
And-
They don't remember when he was fucking, he degraded women worse than Donald Trump ever did. But it was part of the character. I get it.
What about
I get
Val Venus, man? Val Venus. Wow. Oh, and you can't get honorable mention, or no, not honorable mention. The mention of mentions is Stone Cold Steve Austin, bro. Stone Cold Steve Austin's the man.
best. That was
He's
the
still
best.
the man, but
Best
I remember him
entrance
filling
of
up the
all
car.
time.
Filling up the car with Vince McMahon's Lamborghini, a Ferrari,
With
filling
cement. It was
cement.
it was a Corvette or some shit like that. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
man!
it was like a cherry or a yellow Corvette or a cherry
Yeah.
red Corvette. He filled it with cement.
Didn't Val
Also,
Venus get his dick cut off?
by the Japanese guys?
Yeah, yeah.
There was like a group.
Japanese guys.
Yeah, there was a group of Japanese wrestlers who they showed up the same time the ICP did. ICP was in WWE.
Oh yeah.
WWE for like 2 months, and then they got kicked out because they, like Vince McMahon didn't like them. But yeah, that was the shit. That was shock TV. Like, you don't have anything. Back in the day, everything was shock. Howard Stern was famous because he was a shock jock, and Don Imus was a shock jock, and
Opie and Anthony.
Opie and Anthony came later, but they were shock jocks, and they had all the best comedians on Opie and Anthony. And WWE had some of the best, wildest fucking content that you could have in the late 90s and early 2000s that they had to put a stop to because they started to turn into like the cartoon era, like the John Cena, cereal box era, and that sort of cheesed up a little bit, and they had to pull back from Mae Young, an 80-year-old woman getting power bombed through fucking fiery tables by the Dudley Boys, and Mark Henry getting her pregnant and her giving birth to a hand on an episode of Monday Night Raw. I don't know if you remember that.
I was there for 2 instances. I think I said it on the show. I was there when the Giant smacked someone in the Marriott, lobby of the Marriott.
He broke somebody's orbital when he did that.
The guy deserved it. The guy slaps him in the
He was
chest and
harassing
spits on him.
Yeah,
And it was like, fuck you. And the guy's like, and just smacks him. And he got ragdolled him. But he got ragdolled from a smack, bro. It was like a smack. And the guy just went, ugh.
And that guy, Paul White, is proportionately huge. That hand
He's
is
giant. He
hand-
is giant.
Yeah. That hand's like a fucking baseball.
And I was there when Draws broke his neck.
Oh, get out of here.
I was there when Draws broke his neck.
He got powerbombed by D'Lo Brown.
And his hair got stuck on the D'Lo Brown's foot.
Yeah.
That's what happened. And when he lifted him up, his neck snapped back. And broke his neck.
Dude, he's. I think he's still.
I think he's paralyzed for life.
Yeah.
They cut off the air, and what's his name? The announcer jumped on stage and grabbed his hand. It was like holding him. It was crazy. What's his name? Larry, not Larry the King, Jerry the King. Jerry the King jumped on stage.
I was watching the pay-per-view when Owen Hart
Or in ring, not stage, in ring.
When Owen Hart fell from the rafters and died.
Yeah, I was watching
the broadcast for 20 minutes, and then they kept going after that. Like the 20 minutes that match was supposed to last, it was just pretty much JR and fucking Jerry the King Lawler, like giving a play-by-play that they're taking him away on the stretcher, saying that they hope he's still okay. They didn't say that he died officially until it was out on the internet, because this is like the dawn of the internet.
Yeah.
I guess WWE, WWF at the time, WWE probably didn't think that the news was going to spread as fast as it did, and then it did.
He forgot to hook himself. He forgot to hook himself, right?
Yeah. Well, the harness broke, and then he fell from the full length of the arena that they were having the pay-per-view in. Yeah, man, it was really sad, 'cause I liked him. I used to love him. He used to come in as he was coming in as the blue bandit or something. He had like some luchador costume.
Well, and we can't forget about the greatest wrestler of all time, Chris Benoit. We know he'll
go down in history for sure. The infamous Chris Benoit.
He's a real stand-up guy.
Yo, bro, that was sick, dude. When you hear, because those stories come along with it too. The thing is about the wrestling world has its fucking tragedies, and that Chris Benoit shit was wild, bro. When I heard what happened, I was like, everybody's like roid rage.
For those who don't know, he just murdered his entire family.
He choked them all out.
Murdered his entire
family. His whole family. But the thing is, like, you know, like speaking about steroids, what if now there's going to be like an Olympic Village that's going to have to have like that's going to have top of the line security to stop not from the athletes getting hurt from terrorism, but from the athletes themselves, like, you know, flying into a roid rage and killing the people in the city that they're hosting the games at.
You know, steroid sports, or not even steroids, anything, it's everything. That's pretty fucking epic.
Yeah, like you could be high on cocaine at the shop, you know, like at the discus. You know what I mean? Like you could be hammer throw, like, and just smoke the fucking a meth stem.
Let's just go back to the fucking gladiator days, give people shields and swords and go to town.
Listen, those guys were on some shit. Those guys were fucking like drinking kava and fucking, you know what I mean? And they had all sorts of shit in their system.
Speaking of that, I forgot which episode Joe Rogan it was on, but it's been talked about forever. But those fucking the berserkers, they were just doing shrooms and sword fighting.
Mushrooms, and not even just sword fighting. Like,
well, no, it was a
up with
fucking giant broadsword or fucking axe or whatever.
Yeah, it was
tripping
wild.
balls in a battlefield, swinging at everything.
But I think
my God,
they took it ritualistically before. Have you ever seen The Northman? Have you seen The Northman?
No.
You need to see the fucking Northman. The Northman is fucking. It's a brutal fucking movie, and it's the most realistic, like, Viking medieval fucking movie I've ever seen in my life. Willem Dafoe.
Is this? Hold on. Who directed this?
Somebody good, because it was a good fucking movie. I don't know.
It is. It's Robert Eggers. This fucking
It's brutal.
guy.
It's brutal.
Okay. So, I used to own a studio, as people know now. Mm-hmm. And when I first took over the studio, the first job we had was a secret job that we couldn't know about. We had to sign NDAs, and they built a giant pool in the studio, like 7 feet deep, and the whole thing's water now. The whole studio is basically water, and they had a camera dolly in from outside, and it was a pickup shot for the movie The Lighthouse, directed by Robert Eggers.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know this. So they had these giant logs that weighed like... So I thought I could move them, and they're like, that's like 800 pounds, right? I'm like, well, I guess I'm not moving them. So they send the truck to pick them up, and the truck is like, you guys have a forklift, right? I'm like, no. He goes, how am I supposed to get that on the truck? I was like, I don't know, man. He goes, I'll be back tomorrow. So I took a photo of the logs and posted it online. I got an email directly from him saying, "I'm very upset with your studio. You just spoiled the movie."
How? Like,
I posted a picture of a log on social media.
and what's the caption? How did you give it up? It's just logs.
Yeah, no, I just said we had. I also put a picture of not the lighthouse, a picture of something. It wasn't him though, and yeah,
How did it spoil? How did it spoil it?
I
Like,
don't know, But just full disclosure, the movie sucks. The lighthouse sucks.
I never seen the lighthouse. I
His
heard it was
first
good.
movie, The Witch, is phenomenal. So I'm gonna assume The Northman's probably amazing as well.
The Northman is fucking sick, dude. It is brutal. Like if you like Conan the Barbarian, like this is that, but Oscar worthy. That like if you could make Conan the Barbarian Oscar worthy because it's like a revenge movie.
Oh, he's making Nosferatu next.
That's coming out like this year, isn't it? Or he made it already, but he hasn't released it.
Let's see. It's an upcoming American horror gothic film written and directed by Robert Eggers. Blah 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 blah. It finished in May this year.
So that should be out, maybe 2024.
Yeah, probably.
There's some. I've seen some trailer today with some like Dracula-looking fucking movie that takes place on a boat.
I wonder if I just broke the NDA again by talking about that.
I mean, the NDA is only until the movie's released. You can
No,
say
I was. It's once again never listen to anything we have to say, people. I was joking. I never signed an NDA. I probably did, but I laugh at them. They go, "Oh, you have to sign an NDA." I go, it's not really like it doesn't really mean anything in New York State. Oh no, but you have to sign. I understand what you're saying, but it doesn't.
that's
actually
like
mean
a
anything.
that's like a California thing, right? NDAs.
Well, some states, they're stronger. They're stricter with the
Privacy-
rules of it
privacy laws, yeah.
than in New York is one of the more lenient.
So what does that mean? Like you could be subpoenaed to be questioned for something. If you did sign an NDA, they would be like, "Oh, we don't give a shit. You still got to come in and be questioned for this case."
Let's see. Okay, so open-ended NDAs are generally not enforceable in New York.
Oh, okay.
Your agreement should provide a specific time period and the period the obligation lasts, such as during the course of employment or a short period thereafter.
That's what I'm saying. It probably only lasted while the movie was being filmed, and then once the movie's released, you're out of it. You could talk about it. You could say how it sucked. I mean, not unless you wanted to sort of have that kind of reputation with the dude. And I don't know how he's going to react, being that this is a very popular podcast and all.
Yeah. He might get pissed off with all 6 of our viewers.
Like I was almost ready to talk about because I put up like a privacy fake ivy bamboo, like it's real bamboo, but it's like fake ivy fence, like privacy thing to my pool. And I was like wondering if like my neighbors would be offended by it. And I wanted to bring it up on the podcast, but then I'm like, no, what if they fucking hear me say it on the podcast? I'm like, they're not going to fucking watch this.
No, like I was making a
Talk all
joke.
the shit in the world.
I was making a joke to maybe my wife, or maybe just to myself, and I said it out loud, and she didn't even listen. But I was like, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna hit the lottery, move to Florida, start like a podcast studio. Then we'll get big, and someone's gonna find all these old podcasts we do, and they're gonna be like, look how horrible these guys are.
I don't think it'll matter at that point. I'm pretty sure we could scrub the internet of all this shit by that point.
I don't want to.
Yeah, well, who cares? I don't care.
We say it openly that this is a parody show. We don't really mean what we say, and we don't say what we mean.
I don't mean anything.
Yeah, I have no meaning.
I mean, I have no meaning.
Yeah, we don't have any meaning.
Absolutely, I have no
It's-
purpose, no meaning. I'm just here to be here, and that's it.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here. I don't know why I'm here, but I'm happy to be here. Always.
I think it's time to do it again. Oh, it's hurting my brain. I think it's time to do it again. Like I hear myself. Do you hear my brain again?
Oh man!
I think it's
Again and
time
again.
to This is gonna hurt because I can hear myself going.
Oh man, again and again.
This is gonna hurt because I can hear myself going.
Oh man, again and again. Into the abyss.
This is gonna hurt. Thanks for watching. Okay, I can't say it. Thank you for watching our Dumb Concepts podcast. I'm Mike. That's Brian. Please like, subscribe, all that. I can't. Thank you for watching our Dumb Concepts podcast. I'm Mike.